Alright guys, so here's the review of the San Martin SN0112G. So this is their new NH34 powered GMT. So this is a pretty interesting piece, and I'm going to say right off the bat, I'm really impressed with this one. San Martin just keep upping their game each watch, and this one is no exception. So obviously the main selling point with this one is the fact that it is the GMT, and it's got that NH34 in it. But when it comes to this bezel, this is also pretty impressive with this watch. Not something I've seen on an AliExpress watch before, but before we get into that, let's first of all go over the dimensions on this. So we've got a diameter of 38mm, a thickness of 13.5, and a lug width of 20. Then when it comes to the all-important lug to lug, that's coming in at 45.9. So overall, some pretty interesting dimensions there. When it comes to the weight of this, with all the links included, it's coming in at 146 grams, and then size for my 7-inch wrist, it's coming in at 139 grams. Is the weight of a watch important to you when you're buying it? And you can see, if I turn it on the side here, we've actually got female end links, which is always good. So that obviously helps wear a lot better on a lot of different size wrists. So now let's take a look around the rest of the watch and start going over a few different bits and pieces. So before we look at the dial, let's take a look at the rest of the case. So you can see we've got a fully brushed case there, just with polish shone for details, and again you can see those female end links. We've also got some polish and details on that bezel too, just to add a little bit of interest. I'll just go to zoom in so you can see this a little bit better, and you can also see there as well that crystal which sticks out just above that bezel. When it comes to the bracelet, again that's pretty much fully brushed apart from the sides just being polished, and we've got screw links there as well. And there we go, you can see that crystal a bit better now. So it's almost like a top hat style, not quite, but it is quite a high crystal which adds to that overall thickness. And then there's a closer look at those female end links which are nicely integrated as well. And then when it comes to the clasp, we've got the San Martin branding in there, the usual hexagonal logo, and this is their new clasp. So we've got the on the fly adjustment, which again is really impressive. This is the second of their watches I've checked out now with this, and they both work really well. I'm really loving it. It's really simple to use, so you just push this button in and then you can pull it out. You've got plenty of adjustment there. And then you can just push it back in. Don't need to push the button. Works really well, really smooth, really easy to use, as I say. And when it comes to the rest of the clasp, it is a milled clasp as you'd expect. So again, just a really nice overall package when it comes to the clasp, I think. So, as I mentioned before, this is the second watch I've tried out with that clasp. The first one being this. If you haven't seen the review for that, I'll leave a link to it up in the top if you want to check it out. But now let's get back to this, and let's check out whether we've actually got sapphire crystal with that nice dome, or is it going to be a mineral, using the trusty diamond selector too. And as you can see, yep, we've got sapphire crystal, as you kind of expect from San Martin. I don't think I've had a San Martin watch that doesn't have sapphire crystal. So now let's talk about the dial on this. So the first thing you're probably going to notice is that lovely deep black enamel dial. I do really like that a lot. Just adds an extra bit of class and premium kind of feel to it. So let's go to zoom in, talk about it in a bit more detail. So we've got applied indices as well, which are nicely done as you'd expect for San Martin. Really nice high polish on those hands as well. And a good length on them all as well, no issues there. The only one that isn't high polish is that GMT end, which is finished in red, which matches that accent for the GMT, which is also printed in red, just above the 6, along with the automatic and 200 meter water resistance, 660 feet. We've also got the applied San Martin hexagonal logo, and again, with it being applied, just adds an extra bit of premium feel. And then we've got the date window at the 3 o'clock position, which doesn't have a frame around it, but I think it still looks quite good. So now let's get onto this bezel. So it is a pretty interesting one. So it's a 24 click bezel. So you can see it's actually clicking around onto those numbers on the inner part of that bezel, which doesn't move, which has the 24-hour markers on. And obviously you can see as well, it's bi-directional. So this is not something I've seen on an AliExpress watch before. If anyone else has, please do let me know, I would be interested to know. Because as far as I know, this is the first for an AliExpress watch having a bi-directional 24 click bezel. And it all works well, lines up nicely as well. So, really impressive. Again, St. Martin just adding extra little bits and pieces that you don't tend to get on AliExpress watches, just upping their game. In my opinion, I've been saying it for a while now, they're competing with micro brands more than AliExpress watches. And dare I say it, they're actually pushing some of the bigger brands in terms of build quality and specs. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you agree? If you're not keen on the ceramic bezel version, they also have a steel bezel version, which is fully steel, so this black section would be steel instead. But now let's show you all this in action. So we've got a screw down crown, so we just unscrew that. And then if we pop it out once, we can change the date if we turn it one way. And then if we turn it the other way, we can move that GMT hand. And you can see it does actually jump to each number. So again, just something that is a little bit better than you tend to get with some Chinese GMT movements, with it being the NH34. And then if we pull it out again, you can see the second hand stops, we've got hacking. And obviously we can just change the time as you would normally. And then that GMT hand will move with those hands as well. And then we pop it back in, second hand re-engages. Got hand winding, all working well, no issues at all. And then obviously we just screw it back down. This is the second NH34 powered watch I've checked out on the channel. If you haven't seen the other one, I'll leave a link to it up in the top. But now, let's check out what the Lume's like on this one, as that's another thing St. Martin tends to do pretty well. So you can see we've got a bit there already, but let's charge it up, give it a proper chance. And there we go. So you can see we've got BGW9, so we've got that nice ice blue colour. And as you've come to expect from St. Martin, it's really good lume on this one. A little bit disappointing that the bezel isn't lumed, but given the style of it, it's kind of understandable, I guess. But we have got that lume pip up there at the top. And I also like the fact that they've put lume on the tip of that GMT hand, and also the second hand as well. So again, attention to detail is always good with St. Martin, and this watch is no exception. When it comes to the actual lume application, there's no patchiness at all. It's consistent across the hands and the indices. And when it comes to longevity, it's really good, as you expect with most St. Martin watches now. They're probably one of the best watches when it comes to lume, as well as a few other things on AliExpress. So, no issues at all when it comes to the lume. It's going to last you all night, no problems. If I had a little minor gripe, perhaps they could have had a little bit more lume in that lume pip, because it is a little bit small, but that is a bit of a nitpick. So, otherwise, really impressive lume. So, as you've come to expect from St. Martin, it's a pretty impressive overall package. So, between that pretty unique bezel, at least for AliExpress watches, with that two-part section, and the fact that it's 24 click and bi-directional, the fact that you've got nice female end links, keeping that look to look down, the really good case finishing and polishing details, the fact that you've got that nice domed sapphire crystal, that on-the-fly adjustment on the clasp, again with the branding, which is now consistent with St. Martin. They don't mix and match, they just use that hexagonal logo on everything as far as I know, so definitely appreciate that. The fact that it's an NH34 GMT and you've got 200 meter water resistance as well. As I say, it's just a really compelling package, I think. So I've actually got a discount code for this as well, which I'll leave on screen and probably down in the description as well. But now let's show you what it's like on wrist. So here's what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist, and I think it does look really good. I love that enamel dial, and also that domed crystal as well, the sapphire. Really good looking piece, which catches the light nicely with a few little polished details on that bezel and on the hands and the indices. And when it comes to the fit, you've got those female end links, and then that on the fly just clasp, so you can get the perfect size in it, and it just fits your wrist really well. And because it's 38mm, it's going to fit quite a lot of different wrist sizes as well. So this could be a really popular watch, I think. And obviously, with that pretty unique bi-directional 24 click bezel. So the question is, do you want to pick one up? If you do, link will be down in the description, as I say. That is an affiliate link, so it will help support the channel, but you don't pay any extra. And don't forget to use that discount code as well. But that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.